The night settles heavy over the world, the kind of cold that feels alive, creeping into your bones like it has intentions. Snow drifts quietly, peacefully, almost beautifully, until you realize that beauty can be the perfect disguise for danger. It hides footsteps, muffles movement, turns strangers into silhouettes. When you look outside on a winter night, the darkness swallows sound and distance, and suddenly the world becomes a place where anything can be standing just beyond the edge of the porch light, watching, listening, waiting. And yet, even in the scariest moments, there is something powerful to be learned, something human, something hopeful, something that reminds us that we are capable of surviving more than we ever imagined. Tonight, these two stories of someone lurking outside in the snow are not just meant to frighten youth, meant to reach into you and pull forward the strength you might have forgotten you had. The first truth we explore is the quiet language of intuition, the whispers in your bones that tell you when something is wrong even before you can see it. Our bodies are ancient, older than memory, older than fear itself. They were built for storms, predators, uncertainty, and the first story echoes that truth so deeply it becomes impossible to ignore. Caleb, a wildlife photographer with a love for winter that bordered on obsession, had always trusted nature more than people. He trusted the trees, the snow, the sky, the stars, but on this particular night, far out in the Rockies with no signal, no trails, and no civilization nearby, the thing he needed to trust most was himself. The snow had fallen for hours, piling high around his tent until it felt like he was buried in silence. He used to love that silence. He said it made him feel small in a way that was comforting, like nature held him gently in its frozen hands. But that night, something felt different. It wasn't a sound that alerted him, nor a shadow, nor a shift in the wind. It was a tightening in his chest, a pulse that didn't match his heartbeat, a sense that the world outside his tent was suddenly alive with something that didn't belong. He turned off the lantern because instinct told him darkness might protect him better than light. He sat there with nothing but the soft hiss of snow around him, scarcely daring to breathe. And then, faint at first, he heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, crunching through deep powder like someone trying very hard not to make noise. They circled him. Once, twice. The third time, they stopped, right behind his head. He said he could feel the presence through the thin layer of fabric, like a shadow pressing its face against the tent wall. He didn't unzip the door. Some part of him knew that whatever was out there already knew exactly where he was. And then it exhaled a long, warm breath that made the tent wall push inward for the briefest second. People don't breathe like that. Not that close, not that slow, not in the middle of nowhere. But the next morning, when he finally crawled out, bracing himself for the worst, the tracks he found weren't from an animal at all. They were from boots, massive ones, the kind designed for extreme terrain. Only one set, leading toward him, none going away, like someone had walked up to his tent and vanished. Intuition is not a luxury. It's not a superstition. It is a survival skill carved into us by generations who had nothing but their senses to rely on. Caleb listened to that ancient voice, and because of that, he lived to tell his story. But intuition isn't only for moments of terror. It's also the thing that warns you when a relationship doesn't feel right, when an opportunity feels off, when something you're about to do feels guided by pressure instead of truth. Listening to those whispers can save you from heartbreak, regret, and danger you never saw coming. Fear is the messenger. Instinct is the guide. And when your soul speaks, it is always worth hearing. The second truth emerges like a shadow shifting outside a snowy window. Sometimes darkness reveals what the light masks. A young woman in Alaska learned this during one of the harshest storms in her region. Every night for 3 nights, she saw a strange shape outside her window. At first, she convinced herself it was just the angle of the porch light casting odd shadows over the snowbank. People do that, we rationalize, explain away, soften the edges of fear. But on the 4th night, the porch light burnt out, plunging everything into blackness. And that's when she finally saw it move. Saw the silhouette step forward, saw it lean closer, saw it watching her from only a few feet away. Sometimes illusion thrives in comfort, and truth only shows itself in darkness. She survived because she let truth guide her rather than the lie she comforted herself with. In life, The darkest moments often reveal people's real intentions, your real strength, and the real direction you were meant to go. The third truth is a reminder that survival often begins with one brave thought. A boy walking home in a blizzard felt someone behind him. Every step he took, another followed, perfectly matched. Fear can drown you if you let it. But he remembered something his grandfather always said. One calm thought can save your life. So, he pretended to slip on the ice. When he stumbled, he caught a glimpse of the man behind him, a man who rushed forward too quickly, reaching out not to help him but to grab him. That tiny act of pretending to fall saved him. He sprinted into the nearest house with lights on. Fear wants you frozen. Courage is often just one controlled breath. One thought that breaks the panic long enough to act. The fourth truth teaches that fear is not the enemy's silence. A family trapped in a remote cabin during a whiteout heard frantic knocking on their door. Terrified that someone dangerous was outside, they stayed quiet, hiding in the dark. In the morning, they found a half-frozen hiker collapsed a few yards away. Fear had spoken louder than compassion, and their silence nearly cost a life. Sometimes speaking up, calling out, asking for help, or reaching out to someone can save not only them but you as well. Fear isolates, voice connects. The fifth truth glows like a tiny light in a vast winter night. Light is most powerful when everything else fails. A stranded woman alone in her car during a blizzard heard footsteps outside her door. She had only 2% battery left. Instead of calling for help, something told her to use the phone differently. She flashed her screen against the window. The light startled the figure outside, stepped back, startled, and disappeared into the darkness. Moments later, rescuers spotted that same faint glow and pulled her from the storm. Even the smallest light you hold, your kindness, your hope, your determination can become life-changing at the exact moment you feel powerless. The sixth truth is carved from pure resilience. You are stronger than the storm surrounding you. A teen in Canada realized this when someone stalked him through thick woods during a blizzard, using trees as cover. He ran until the cold numbed his legs and turned his breath into knives. He collapsed near a road but refused to give up. Crawling the last few feet, he dragged himself into sight of a snowplow operator who pulled him to safety. The boy should have died, but there's something inside the human heart, a flame that refuses to go out. Even when everything else collapses, life will throw storms at you. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will crumble, but there will always be something inside you that does not break. The seventh truth softens the cold edges of fear. Help can come from the most unexpected place. A man being followed in the snow felt panic rising in him like water in his lungs. Just when he thought he would be overtaken, a stray dog appeared out of nowhere and began barking, growling, circling him protectively. The presence of that animal scared the stalker away. Humans aren't alone on this earth. Sometimes protection comes from strangers, coincidences, timing that feels too perfect to be accidental. Life sends help in ways we don't always recognize at first. The eighth truth reminds us that every ending holds a new beginning, even the terrifying ones. A woman who survived a chilling winter encounter where someone stalked her through a forest trail spent years battling nightmares. But instead of letting fear define her, she transformed it into strength. She became a winter survival instructor, teaching others the courage she once struggled to find. Trauma did not end her story, it started a new chapter she never knew she was capable of writing. Fear can be a doorway. Pain can be a teacher. What you survive becomes the wisdom you pass on. And so tonight, as the snow falls softly outside your window and the darkness settles like a heavy blanket over the world, remember that the shadows outside do not define what lives within you. The cold cannot put out your inner fire. The unknown cannot silence the courage that has carried you through every storm up to this moment. Fear may visit, but it does not own you. Strength lives in your heartbeat. Hope lives in your breath. Light lives in your soul. May you be protected in every silent night, warmed in every frozen hour, and guarded from every shadow that walks the snow. May God wrap you in safety, calm your fears, guide your path, and keep you close, even when the world outside feels cold and unfamiliar. May peace settle over you like warm light through a window, reminding you that no matter how deep the snow, no matter how dark the night, you are never walking through it alone.